Hi, Collective. I'm Ancient, and I have a message for you all. Looking at this thread, I already sense that this is complex, and I feel like it involves multiple people. Um, there's a situation here where I don't know if you may understand now why this particular individual was juggling perhaps you and someone else. I feel like that someone else they could have a child with. And this person wants to be married. They always knew in the future they would get married. For some of them, they could have been married before. This is why they didn't want to rush into anything. I don't feel that they were going to marry their child's mother or father. But what I do feel is that they were going to at least they were going to keep a stable partnership. Okay, this is a specific story. They were going to stay in this partnership with this particular person because they have a child with them. Um, but also they felt like that person was stable, supportive, motherly, fatherly. They embodied all of those domestic traits. So this person also knew that they knew that that person would never leave them, so there was a sense of security there, if that makes sense. They didn't really have to put in any energy and effort, which is really not a good thing because that lets me know that that person, was in the 5 of Pentacles or 4 of Cups. So they didn't have to put in any energy or effort to keep the person. They really didn't have to do much. And then you show up, okay? You show up and they felt like their ego was being challenged. You didn't do anything, but it's something about maybe how you look. Um, maybe you're their physical type or just their type in general. And you show up, they were still trying to figure out the situation between their child's mother or father, whether or not they want to stay with them, not because they were necessarily in love, it just was easy. Okay. It would be easy to stay with them. There would be security there. They know the person's loyal. They felt like the person would take good care of the children, you know. Um, that's why. But in terms of their needs, there was something that wasn't being met. Security though was there. So they were not worried about this person cheating on them or anything like that. Now you show up, their ego gets challenged because they begin to feel a sense of desire and they hadn't felt that. Like you turn this person on. They hadn't felt that for anyone else in such a long time, even their child's mother or father, they hadn't felt that turned on. And at first, I feel this person may have thought it was just lust or something like that, but it really wasn't. There was true and honest feelings there. You already knew that you felt like this was your person, but you also noticed that they were apprehensive. There was a lot of back and forth. You knew perhaps later on that they had a child, but you knew this person wasn't married or anything. But you knew that they were, it seemed like there was a disconnect between them and their child's mother or father. Um, so there was some deception there, I feel. Maybe this person wasn't 100% honest with you about how their person saw them because they could have been telling you, we're not in a relationship, I don't love them, blah 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 blah, and all of that is good, but I don't say good, but all of that is fine and dandy, but did they tell the person that? Did they make it clear? So there was some disconnect there. There was back and forth. This person did not tell them, you know, um the truth. They didn't tell them the truth about their feelings, like that they didn't want to be with them, and or if they were going to be with them, the reason. So the person thought that, there was love there. There was the potential for marriage. There was all of this, and none of that was ever the case. They could have said it in the bedroom because it sounded nice, but they never was going to marry that person. And then when you show up, they saw all of that with you. They saw marriage, they saw even children. If you could have children or if you want children, they saw all of this with you. And it created confusion within themselves because they were like, okay, but how can I feel all this for this person? And I just met them. I'm not going to put my relationship, with my child's mother or father, who I have to deal with every day. I'm not going to create drama with them, which I get from a logical perspective. That makes sense, but it still was drama because the heart wants what it wants. You can't hide how you feel for someone. So in this person's mind, they believe that they believed that keeping you like not fully invested in the connection and not telling the person, their child's mother or father, the full truth was the better option and better decision. They learned later on that that was the wrong choice, obviously. And so now this person is trying to figure out how can they come back to you. But it's not just come back to you, how can they explain all of this? How can they just basically say they were trying to make a decision between you and their child's mother or father? Because it sounds bad. They feel that if they were to tell you that, you might blow up on them. I don't feel like you're gonna blow up on them. You might just say, that's a bit irritating because you could have just told me the truth. I think that's the only part of it, that there was just no communication, that you felt like the person could have been leading you on. And if that was the case, they should have just like not dealt with you at all until they figured out the situation with their child's mother or father. But see, the reason why is because this person became a bit selfish. When they met you, they fell in love with you and they fell hard. This person became territorial and a bit possessive over you. So they didn't want to share you with no one else. But they also were not making a final decision and choice between you and that other person. Um, but they see marriage. Their ex, they see security and just being with them for the sake of the child to keep a balanced home. So in their head, they were like, well, if this person feels, talking about you, if you felt the way that they feel, like strongly, then they would have left the person or something. But see, they wanted you to put all your cards on the table. They wanted you to show your hand. They didn't want it to flow naturally. It's like I felt like this person could have been putting a lot of pressure on you to show your loving side or something, or they wanted you to do more, but they wasn't doing anything because they felt like they shouldn't and they couldn't because they were still connected to someone. That's what I'm getting. So this person is thinking about, well, how can I get them now to because they're not with their ex. They've already made it. They made that choice and decision in their head that it's not going to work. So this person is now thinking to themselves, okay, I made a mess of this. I caused all this chaos. How can I get them to see that they've always been the one and the reason behind why I was not like why I was juggling. This person's trying to figure out how can they explain that because they know that that's irritating. If they were in your shoes, I feel like this person has put themselves in your shoes. They feel like if they were in your shoes, they would be irritated as well. They would feel used, they would feel manipulated. But it wasn't about this person intentionally trying to manipulate. There was manipulation here though, but it was like it's complicated. If this story resonates with you, you'll know it's complicated. I don't feel like there was tactics there that felt extremely manipulative. So so this person feels like they've already made their choice and decision. It's you. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to get you back on the same page with them, right? In the same page, some of you could be in a good space, meaning like you could be talking to them and stuff, but how can they get you to uh reestablish a connection with them to where it is about family and children and marriage? Like, how can they get you back on that topic? So, I'm going to dive into this in part two and we'll see what this person is going to say. Okay. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.